Hi, good evening everybody and welcome to the show. You've got myself here with David Leopold, and this week's show is called Communitas, and the reason for the title, stop something running in the background that's playing the audio for me. There we go. Reason for the name of the show, very simple. Collaborating with your
What is the
community.
reason for the name of the show? What is the reason for the name of the show, Michael?
Where's David? Hang on. Ah, there you are. It's all about working with the local
everybody.
community.
Hello. Yeah. You actually stole my first question. I was going to surprise you and ask you why is it called Communitas? Because you are the one. We have to be straight up with the folks, and you are the one that comes up with the titles of our weekly shows because you do a great job with it. And what was your thought process about Communitas?
The thought process behind Communitas was because I speak Spanish and English, some words in Spanish and English actually translate really very similarly. Community, for example, in Spanish is comunidad. And, even if you don't speak Spanish, you probably have an idea of what that word means. But then when I translated community engagement, it came out something completely different when I reverse translated it back into English. And I didn't really like that. So I went to the Latin, Communitas. Both.
When in doubt, go Latin.
When in doubt, go Latin. Yeah, why not? So
you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
No, not at all. What we got lined up this week then, David?
My goal is, if we could, because I noticed on our list of folks who are going to be viewing, and for those who will watch the recorded version of our show, I'd like to just take a moment, say a little bit about myself. What is my perspective on start building your business? And I'd like for you to do the same, because I think it's important to what it is that you and I are trying to accomplish. It's not just because we want to have a hangout on air broadcast. Mm-hmm. It goes much deeper than that.
Yeah.
Michael, I've been, as you know, I have been starting and building businesses for over 40 years, and some of them have been mine. Some of them have been other folks who I never knew and just got involved. Some of them have been folks who I knew and needed some assistance. And Michael, never before have I seen in my 40 years of doing this how important it is for not only businesses to get started, because not enough new jobs are being created, yeah. But we're at a real transitional point with businesses growing, mm-hmm. And that's what you and I are all about, to engage with those folks who want to take their businesses to the next level. Now, our expertise, your expertise is technology, and as I say, I actually call it creative technology. Because it's not just about how things work. You have a great handle on how can things work better to achieve business goals and objectives.
I think,
yeah. Is that a pretty good summary of what you're all about, Michael?
I think that would be, if people ask me what I do, and I think they've got a handle on IT and web, I generally just tell them I'm a web application developer. No, I'm not an app developer. No, I'm not an iPhone developer. Leave that to the people that know how to do it. Yes, I can write iPhone apps, and yes, I can write, pretty much anything you want to do. You imagine it, write it down. Quite often I'll give a customer that and a pencil, and I'll say, draw what you think. What do you think it is that you want to do? And I will then either go away and write the code, or in the case of Hangouts and what we're doing, I'll find different pieces of software and push them together and maybe write a little bit of code to make them work together. For example, this Hangout is actually not using, well, it's using a Hangout on air to bring people together, but we're actually distributing direct to YouTube Live, but not to our own channel. We're distributing to the hosted Hangouts channel for various reasons. And hosted Hangouts is a system that takes a Hangout and drops it into Facebook and a website, any number of websites, like we did last week with Andy. We actually used this system, and we had a video that broadcast to the total number of views, live views, was just over 1,000. The total number of peak views, which means the number of people connected at the same time, was 358. The video itself has had over 3,000 views and well over 1,500, 2,000 comments or more. I can't count because we were bringing comments in from Facebook, Google, Twitter. Just put up a quick display actually. These are all the comments that are coming through on this event for us, for this particular show.
Oh, look, my friend Vivek is saying hello.
Where's
there.
Vivek?
I saw.
Where's Vivek? Oh yeah.
I saw.
Yeah. There's Roxanne.
Yeah, there he is.
Sheila. And we've got others as well. We're tracking comments that are coming through on Twitter as well, and I've got tutorials up there that show people how to do this. You know, as I say to David, I'm a great proponent and believer in advice being for free. I don't mind. Hit me up, ask me. I'll even write a tutorial for you. And the reason why is because I've been doing this for 18 to 20 years. It's not physically possible for somebody to take all that information in and apply it themselves. So sometimes they have to say to me, you know what, Mick, I really love what you're doing, but I can't do it myself. Would you do it for me? And I'm sure you've come across the same thing yourself, David.
Well, the answer is absolutely yes, I have, Mick. Should I call you Mick or should I call you Michael publicly?
I answer to both. In the house, people call me Miguel, because it's just easy. And Sophia, curiously, she couldn't say Miguel when she was little. She used to call me Miel, which in Spanish means honey. I thought that was so sweet. And then she got to about 5, 6, and she could pronounce Miguel. So, you know, it lost the sweet edge, but every now and again it comes out. It's sweet.
Well, you actually, whether you realize it or not, have answered the first question that we want to deal with, and just describing what it is you do, and that is what is your social marketing engagement today. And that's okay. That's kind of where I wanted to lead you down that path. Mm-hmm. And I have to make a comment because a lot of folks, when they talk about what's happening with marketing today, mm-hmm. Immediately they say social media. It's social and media.
Everybody I don't. Yeah.
I don't think that's the complete answer. I really don't think that's the complete answer. I think the complete answer is when you talk about social marketing, of which social media is a part of social marketing, because let's not kid ourselves. I have been doing social marketing things for over 40 years, literally. And I built my first community. And we know how important community building is a part of the marketing, the social marketing that we do today. You can build your community in Google Plus, as you and I have done very well. You can build it in Facebook. Or Book of Faces, as you like to call it.
I prefer to call it the Book of Faces. I hate using the word. I really do.
Or LinkedIn or Twitter. It doesn't really matter. And here's a point I wanted to make about me personally, to put what it is that I do into proper perspective. I do not use Facebook as such. I mean, I have a Facebook page, I have a LinkedIn page, I have a Twitter profile. I do not spend very much time in those three social media. So I'm not a good one to answer questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? What works? What doesn't work? I can talk about the conceptual marketing that drives activity in those communities, but I can't talk intelligently about how those communities work. And you can. You can
It's
because
actually
you
quite
use them.
strange because I work with clients day in day out, and I live and breathe social media. I'm probably connected to social media for around 12 hours a day. Whichever medium or platform it might be. What's important to me from the client's point of view is helping them understand which platform is most appropriate for what they're doing. A good example is here in Tenerife, where I live. You would think that if there was bad weather and the schools were closed, that you would get an update from the local government, the town hall, or I don't know, some other educational establishment of some description, yeah? Do you know where I get my information? Twitter, from the company that runs the buses. And it seems logical because these guys are taking the kids to school. So if there's no school, they put out a tweet that says, no hay colegio, or we don't have any schools today. And I get people connecting with me on Facebook and saying, Mick, have we got any schools today? Like, nope, bad weather today. And it only rains maybe 3-4 times a year here. But when it rains, it really rains. It'll wash roads out. The barrancos, or the drains here, some of them 20-30 feet wide and 20 feet deep, to take the rainwater off the mountains, because we've got this big volcano in the middle of the mountain here, in the middle of the island here. So
Uh,
coming back to your point there for a second,
yeah,
David.
why don't you come back to the point, Michael? It'd be wonderful to know what the weather is like in Tenerife, and
Right now. It's warm. No, the point is that it's finding the right platform for your voice. There's a thing in London called Speaker's Corner, and it's in Hyde Park. Anybody can go there, stand on a box, just put a plinth up, stand on a box, and talk about anything they want. Call it free speech. And I forget when it's held. I think it's every Sunday, and people can talk about the most wild things that they want to talk about. Nobody's going to arrest them unless they're breaking the law. Um, but they're broadcasting to a very restrictive audience, and it's just the same as if a company wants to constantly use Twitter to send images. Well, images might be better off on another platform, or they want to, I don't know, send links and have customized content. Well, maybe that's not the right platform for them. I'm not going to mention names, but one platform is really good for engaging an audience and keeping the audience there. Another platform is very good for engaging an audience on that platform and then taking them out of that platform to somewhere else. This platform that we're on, Google for example, I could be executing a search in Google and I could be looking for something. Maybe I need, I don't know, a boat repair specialist. And there is somebody in my circles who repairs boats, but I don't know that they do this. I do a search on Google, that person's posts will come up, and I can make contact with them and ask them for help and advice. Now,
okay, well, we could go on forever bantering, couldn't we?
we could,
But
but I need to go get
let
the
me
guests,
make a.
don't I?
Well, I was going to say I hear them getting very, very anxious in the green room. So while you're going to get the guests in the green room, I'm going to make a brief statement about what I do with video, because that's the second question that we wanted to deal with tonight. How important is video to your marketing strategy? So you want to go off and get our mystery guest, Michael?
I'll go off and get the mystery guests. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I have to make the statement in talking about video that is absolutely my primary means of communication. The marketing message that I personally take to the marketplace is done through video. I don't do blogging much, a little bit here and there, not much. I do a lot of share. When I find a good blog, a good article, I will share that as opposed to me coming up with original copy. I do videos. I have my second anniversary coming up of doing my first YouTube in February next month, And in the 2 years, I have posted over 600 videos onto YouTube. And when Hangouts on Air became available, I immediately took to them. Didn't have to think about should I or how to. I had to, because it was an efficient way for me to get the search the search value of doing a Hangout on Air, because it was live streaming on my Google profile page. And then automatically at the end of that Hangout on Air, it becomes a YouTube. So I then did what I do, the coding that I do in YouTube, and then I do another thing that not a lot of folks necessarily do, but it's important for me to achieve the goals and objectives of my business strategy, and that is I create a landing page. Any video that I do, be it just by myself or be it with one of the two individuals who I see are ready to come on, and I've done videos with both of them, HOAs with both of them, we create a landing page. So without any further discussion, let me bring on our mystery guests and experts, and hopefully Michael is ready to bring them onto the main screen. First, I will do it, well, in no particular order, no priority order. I'm very happy to welcome Stephen Sabludowski.
You got it.
You have too many syllables in your name, Stephen.
Yeah, it's a good thing we shortened it.
He shortened it. Stephen is actually an attorney by training. He is from New Orleans, Louisiana, or the greater New Orleans area. But Stephen has one of the finest business initiatives going, and I don't think I could ask for a better person to come and share their thoughts about social marketing and engagement than Stephen. So let me put you there, Stephen, and then I'll introduce Scott, and we'll get going with some questions. The next individual who has graciously given up his time to come and share his thoughts is an individual who, in a very short period of time, has made a wonderful name for himself based upon his expertise. And his expertise is video editing. And he has done it throughout the years, and now has brought his talents and skills to Google and to Hangouts on Air. Scott Scowcroft from Seattle, Washington, welcome. Is Scott there?
Scott needs to unmute himself.
Scott, if you could unmute yourself and
you would think after all this time I'd remember to do that. I am honored to be here, and you can tell how nervous I must be because I forgot to unmute myself.
Well, you've been doing the Hangout circuit in the last couple of days, haven't you? I've been seeing you all over the place.
You just can't get away from me, can you?
Well, I guess I can. But let's start with a lead question for Stephen. Talk about, Stephen, if you will, how important social marketing engagement is today, and share, if you will, one of the most interesting case studies that you just did in the last. It's an ongoing case study that you've been doing in the last week or so, and you're integrating a lot of media into a whole concept. Please share that with us.
Well, first of all, social marketing is absolutely an integral part of anything dealing with the internet, anything dealing with the web. You know, whether or not it's a business or a small business, or in my case, a law practice, or even a website, a news website. I own BayouBuzz.com, and what's important about the social marketing is that we try to get as much of the information out there into the social media. So understanding social media and using it is really critical. I mean, if you look at the stats that you can get in, say, Google Analytics, and you look to see what the social marketing is, certainly I think that you'll see that is really increasing dramatically. Still, the most important, I think at least, the most important aspect of marketing, it deals with Google search. And that's where most of the traffic is going to come from. I would say about 70% roughly of everybody's traffic will come from Google search. And that's why Google Plus and Hangouts is so important, because of the integration of it with Google search. As far as the unique example,
before you go into the example,
yeah, sure.
I want to share something about you that I actually don't know the answer to the question, but I think it speaks to what is happening in the world today and how you approach the challenges, particularly in marketing, because I think that's the common denominator with all of us, is how do we market, what approach do we take with the ultimate objective of generating sales. I mean, we can do all the marketing we want to do, but it has to be measured in how does that translate into sales. So the question I want to ask you, and I've never asked you this question, what percentage of your time do you spend in legal practice, and what percentage of your time do you spend in publishing your outstanding Bayou Buzz, and then all the things that are affiliated and related to it?
Well, the thing is, I'd say about 50-50. I mean, and I will say that quite a lot of my of what I do with Bayou Buzz is dealing with legal issues, whether it's dealing with such things as YouTube. Michael and I have discussed the parameters and rules and all dealing with YouTube, or dealing with virtually anything, the law practice, and in my case, internet law is really it's so helpful to understanding so much of what we do.
What are the big issues in internet law today?
Well, there's so many issues, but since we're talking about say social media, I mean, certainly understanding the copyright rules and the copyright laws is I think, very important. I think that as we proceed and we start developing relationships online in the social media market, basically, you're finding people that you can communicate with and work with. And so as a result, you have to have at least, some really good legal documents which are filled out, signed, and approved. I will tell you that there are some major issues that occur in everybody's experience, as far as I'm concerned, dealing with servers, the legal issues concerning just those alone, any work that's being done on your website, whether it's the construction or the, say, renovation. So, in many respects, it's almost like a real estate contract. It really is. You try to set your certain guidelines and deadlines, and you try to make sure that whatever you agree to, that it fits within those guidelines and deadlines.
Okay. If you would, and thank you for that, I have always thought that in terms of practicing law, the whole concept of how fast the internet moves and how fast technology moves, it has to be a very, very dynamic area in which to be practicing law. I wish I had my law degree, Stephen. I really do.
I can tell you this. I've gotten to a discussion about some of the things that I'm doing in terms of my website, and with a somebody else from the site, and they didn't like what I was doing, and and they took a attitude that they were above the the law, and they're above their morality, that they're just full of morality. And I said to them, I said, look at your site, look what you're doing. You actually are promoting the use of, in terms of social media, you want people to click and to forward your pictures and your content to social media. Now think about that. That, in every sense of the word, is a copyright infringement. Okay? So what you're doing is, and this is what I think is absolutely incredible, websites are constantly saying, you can't do this, you can't do this. But if you look at what they're doing, they're absolutely some of the worst offenders. Again, if you look at say you go to a website and you want to go ahead and you want to share a picture, let's say to Facebook or to Google Plus. So you click on it and the picture emerges, and then you write something in the little box and you hit share, and then you put it on Facebook or you put it on, say, Google Plus or whatever, and so the picture itself actually appears, right? It appears in your on Facebook, on your stream, or Google on your stream. Well, what have you done? You've actually copied a picture that existed on one person's site, and you put it on a social media site. So you've done that without permission, and you've done that. You basically you copy and paste it, and that's just extraordinary. The whole legal issues, and I know we've talked about this so many times, but in terms of the parameters of what you can do and what you can't do, and what some of the big providers, whether social media or websites, they are, as far as I'm concerned, they are really absolutely the worst offenders in this whole game. And it's really fun because you have to deal with these people and to show them how hypocritical and inconsistent they are.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask Scott a question or two, and I'm going to come back to you, because when I come back, Stephen, I would love for you to share what you have done in the radio world and how you took a radio show and exactly what you did with it, because it truly embraces social marketing and social marketing engagement, which you did. We'll come back to that. Scott Scowcroft, I think there's two things that I would like you to share, if you would. I think first and foremost, the fact that you started a business, and it isn't even, well, you'll tell me officially how old it is, but I know it's not quite a year old yet. And then I'd like to talk. I'd like to have you talk about how important video is to the social marketing mix.
Okay, that's wonderful. And first of all, what I'd like to do is say how happy and honored I am to be on the same program with Stephen. He is, just absolutely terrific and at the tip of the sword in terms of social media and the internet. The internet is going to be. The internet is immature right now. It's growing up, and people think that there are different rules on the internet than in quote-unquote real life, and yet it's merging. And in a few years, it'll seem naive to think that the internet and social media and what we're doing, David, is anything except real life. So you asked about my business, and it has evolved into being called the Scott Treatment, and it has resulted from a year's worth of listening and trying to hone my skills. You said it was video editing, but really there's a skill to be able to take a larger long form and to cut it down to something that is bite-sized or something that is very condensed. And that's a useful skill for anyone to have in the written word. So you write a memo and then you pass it along to your colleagues, or in video. And I would say that video is becoming increasingly important because that's the trend. It is going to become, I predict, as ubiquitous as the fax machine did at one time, and as useful as word processing is with the skill set that you need to have. Well, people now have that skill set. And it's going to become as powerful as, well, as powerful as video, because video seems to be one of those mediums that combines sight and sound, right? And when you think of it, radio was dominant, and then TV came in the 1950s, and it just absorbed the country to the point where it was what we all congregated around, ABC, NBC, CBS, the newscast, and so forth. And things change, and now it's going online, and it's changing because it's going into the hands of our kids. And they are going to be as literate and as comfortable with video as we are with, the technologies that we use. So it is part of the future, I would say. And anyone who really wants to make an impact on the future, I would say, will just naturally step into this new space. And that's what the Scott treatment is all about.
And I think it's an interesting story that you didn't even come up with the name the Scott treatment, that those folks, well, it's a great story. The folks who saw what you were doing and how you did it and the quality of the work that you produced. Hey, so who was the first one to actually say the Scott treatment? Was that Ronnie?
Well, Ronnie is the one who came up with it originally, and Martin Shervington was the first person to actually proclaim it publicly. So I'm going to claim that they co-birthed the Scott treatment.
There's some pretty strong endorsement there, Scott.
Well, I'm grabbing it. I am honored. And what that really is, I think, is more of a story of community, because people who follow the rules, you get onto Google Plus, you listen for a while, you start engaging, you stick to what you know, but share a little bit of what you are personally, and see what happens. And I have long said two things. One is, I think that Google Plus, the way that Google has put it together, it just naturally brings out the best in people. And then, let's see, the second thing is that with Hangouts on Air, like you and I are doing right now with Stephen, the eye contact makes all the difference in the world. And once you have that personal connection, that really cements community. So it's no longer the village square, it's the global village, and we're all coming around together with that. And I feel like I'm the poster child for that.
What I like to, the analogy I like to create, Scott and Stephen, I have private hangouts with the two of you at least once a week. I have a hangout with you. And Stephen, you're in your home, sitting in that big, old, comfortable chair there that I want to find out about that because I want one of those. And Scott, you're in your home. I'm in my home. Is there anything more social than the fact that we communicate with each other in our homes and we get to know each other outside of an office-type environment? It's a whole new business model.
And I'm the one who keeps on saying, and people kind of roll their eyes when they hear it, but I think you can create faster and deeper relationships on air with Hangouts on Air than oftentimes you can do in real life.
Why do people roll their eyes? Because that's
because real life. Well, I don't know. It is because it's such an outrageous thing to say.
I don't think it's that outrageous. I think it's one of the smartest things I've heard all day long, Scott.
Yeah, but David, you too have drunk the Kool-Aid. That's the problem.
Well,
Both of us have, right?
No, it's not a problem, though. No. It's not a problem because I can, and Stephen, I want you to comment on the statement I'm going to make right now. In this world, we can move faster, better, more efficiently, and doing the things that we want to do, excuse me, and the marketing communications that we want than ever before, certainly in my 40-plus years of doing this stuff. What's your comment on that, Stephen?
You know, I have to agree with what Scott's saying in terms of video. When I first started with the internet, it was 1990, and you know, basically at that time, trying to envision what it would be like in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and hoping that I'd be able to make it. The last couple of years, video has you know, as Scott said, being ubiquitous. I would say not only ubiquitous, but absolutely necessary. And at one point in time, the issue was, at least in the legal community, whether or not a fax machine was necessary for the practice of law. And from after that, it was email, whether or not email was necessary for the practice of law. I believe that the next issue is going to be whether or not video, whether it's video on your phone like this or video on this, say on your notepad or tablet. You know, is that going to be necessary for you in the practice of whatever it might be? Whether you're in a say corner grocery store and you're trying to sell out to to the neighborhood over the internet, or if you have a department store and you're trying to communicate with the different people within your department store. So I think that Scott is right on about video. In fact, one of the things that I had done that I think you were referring to is what I did with the say radio broadcast. If I can go into it now, or I can wait.
Please share that, because it's a really interesting, very, very dynamic story.
Well, thank you. Basically, thank you. I do a radio show every Tuesday in the morning, and I'm a guest. And
radio? What's radio? Is radio still out?
That's radio is this thing that doesn't have video.
Good.
Okay, and it's part of mass media. But the thing is that I've been trying to at least get one of my associates who is a talk show host to get online and to use say Google Hangouts. He and I have we'll do video interviews where I will interview him, he'll interview me, but that's not using radio. That's just like I'm here and he's there and in front of his computer, or like I said, or his phone. So the other day, I finally found out that he was going to be interviewing a gentleman who's running for mayor for the city of New Orleans. So I asked him whether or not we could do a hangout, and we did. The first one didn't turn out that well because we had some technical issues. But what I was able to do is my friend Jeff was able to talk to his guest while they were in the station, and while I'm here 20 miles away, I'm able to put that content on my website, Bayou Buzz. And in fact, I put that content on every page of Bayou Buzz, which amounts to I think around 6,000 or 7,000 pages at the very top. So people go to the site, and the first thing they would see is a live video going on. So the following day, I was supposed to do my interview where he was interviewing me. And we had set up we got the issues correct in terms of radio and Hangouts, and so it was very, very smooth. So we did the interview, and we fielded questions from the audience. Again, it was talk radio, and then after the radio appearance, after it was all over. Basically, as you know, the recording goes on YouTube, and so what I did was I downloaded I said, what if I do this? What if I do? Because I love doing things that kind of stretch the envelope as much as I can, and so I downloaded the video from YouTube, and then I separated the video and the audio. So then I took the audio and I uploaded it to a Chrome extension that basically allows you to dictate. And I then took the audio, and I had in the audio, I had, and it's only because this was not working as well as I wanted to, so I went this way. I thought about, well, how can I do this? So I put this headset on, and and only because I was going to use the microphone, the mic, and I put this earplug into my ear, and so I started listening to the interview, and as I listened to the interview, basically from here I recorded into the Chrome extension, and the dictation accuracy I'd say was around 95%. And if I wanted to make it slower, I could make it slower in terms of the audio. So after that, after I had this this content, what do I do with it? Well, we all know in this industry that if you can tie text to audio and video, you're light years ahead of any one of those three alone. So consequently, what I did was I then uploaded the text into the video. So then it became a caption, just like a closed caption. And what that does actually is it's embedding the content, the textual content into the video. So it ranks a lot better on search engines. And that's the integral part of the game, is getting found. And then, as far as the text, I was able to take the video and the audio. I was able to take the text and put in the article along with the video. So if somebody goes to the website and wants to read the article, they could read the article, and they want to watch what was actually being said on radio and on Hangout, internet, they can do that too. So when you consider the different dimensions, the different media that you're bringing together, Hangouts, I think, is quite frankly, is the catalyst. It's the impetus, I just really would recommend everybody to get with it. Because it will, I think, really remake your life if you wanted to.
Okay, let me paint a picture here. I started in the publishing world 40 years ago, literally 40 years ago. I was from a little bit of hot type and a lot of cold type, and that's how I published. You're smiling because you're a digital publisher, and it's so much easier to be a digital publisher. Wow. So time went on. I got into video, and then I had a period of my life that I got into an area where Scott had spent about 20 years, and that's, am I right, Scott, about 20 years in public access television?
Yeah, about 20 years or so, 25.
Okay. And interestingly enough, when the very first thing when I went into that aspect of public access television, I actually did an internet radio show. I don't think I ever told you this, Scott. I actually did an internet radio show, and I developed a following, and they wanted me to take it to their television studio right across the hall. So that's how I got into doing a television show. So I am definitely from the old school. Definitely from the old school. Stephen, you have been able to really leverage the power of technology to do the things that you want to do. And it's amazing just to be in that digital world. And Scott, you're the luckiest one of all, because as you're starting your business, it's all the technology is out there, all the digital is out there, and you get to come in and times are easier than they were 40 years ago. Good for you, Scott. Good timing.
Well, thank you, David. I appreciate it. it's fun growing up with all of us. I mean, there are a group of us who are seeing this change so quickly that years from now we're going to look back and we're going to say these were the golden ages of Hangouts on Air, and whatever it's going to evolve into, this has got to be the golden age.
It certainly is. Well, unfortunately, I have to bring our conversation to a close here. But what I would ask of each of you to make a final summary statement of where you are today and in terms of all the different technology and marketing, social marketing, and where you think things are going. Stephen, you want to take the lead, and then Scott, you can follow up.
I'm not sure whether or not we're in the golden age. I will say this, that the spirit that I find within, say, the Hangout and the Google Plus community is reminiscent, to me at least, the spirit that existed when the Internet first evolved from, say, CompuServe, AOL, and then some of the other, say, standalone products. So looking back at that experience, what's important is to get in early and to give it the best shot that you can, and to meet other people online. And that's kind of, I think, where what I'm trying to do, and hopefully that your audience will do.
Speaking of the audience, and Scott, I hate to interrupt. There are some questions for each of you, and Michael's going to bring those questions forward.
Hi guys, just very quickly.
Hi Michael.
Hi. We've got a few questions here. One from Vivek. I think this is to Stephen. He wants to know the name of the Chrome extension he uses for speech-to-text conversion. If you could just let them know that, please, Stephen.
Yeah, I believe it's called Dictation. Actually, it's $20. You can use it for 1 week trial period, and then it's $20 for a year. And I got to tell you, it's absolutely amazing.
Great.
I mean, it really is. It's super. And what happens is you have one screen open, so you're actually typing as you're listening. So you don't have to press any buttons or anything of that nature. If you want to pause, you just hit the escape button, and that's it.
And it basically converts the text, the speech into text directly. Fantastic.
Sure.
I know one person in particular does that quite a lot, and you're 100% right. It helps for optimization. You say it's just called Dictation or something like that?
I believe it's called Dictation. And let me just follow up on that. I've been using, say, Dragon voice recognition dictation. Okay, which is the taking the speech and converting it to voice. Been using that actually for about 20 years, a little bit more than that, and that has caught on, and that is awesome. It's an awesome product that you can use in everything that you do. Voice is definitely this is the golden age for voice, as far as the speed and accuracy is awesome.
Let's see
Scott,
what else we've got here. Sorry, come on.
Oh, I was going to say, if we'll bring another question, but Scott, are you at liberty to discuss that really interesting technology that you use, that you've tried to teach me how to use? It's so very significant.
I'm trying to remember which technology that is.
Begins with a P.
Did you say D or P?
P as in Prezi.
Oh, Prezi. Okay, no, there is absolutely no secret with that. Prezi is a terrific container for text and for video, and I'm just chomping at the bit to learn more about it and to share it with the broader community.
And you've done it does some wonderful things and really creates a lot of efficiencies when you're trying to produce an HOA, for example.
You bet.
Okay, Michael, you have another question from our audience.
Yeah, Vivek is leading on from that. I think we've covered it, saying that embedding a script into YouTube videos also makes it easier for translation by YouTube into different languages as a subtitle. That's a really key point because, you know, for me to be able to reach a wider audience in different languages is really important. You know, Roxanne has a comment here about how her daughter turns in her homework online. You know, this is relating to, you know, technology and how technology is, you know, how could I put it, permeating every area of our lives. You know, she has a password and she has to submit that, has till midnight to submit that, and she's in high school. Coming back onto something that I think Stephen was talking about, Vivek has made a comment here about the copyright laws are still in the last century and they are yet to adopt to the digital age. The major problem they are yet to address is globalization and laws of one country not exactly applied the same way in another country, and the legal system just goes into meltdown. I just wondered if Stephen had anything to say about that.
Yeah, again, I think that it's really hard to create a law dealing with, say, copyright, and it's hard to enforce a law dealing with copyright. And the reason why is because the technology leads the law, and the technology and the practice of that technology leads the law. Here's the thing. And I know that my friends from Facebook and Google and everybody else are going to be upset at me, but you know the truth of the matter is they're their own enemies. I mean, they really are, because of what they're allowing the media to do and what they're allowing everybody to do. And so they're what everybody's doing. The example I gave is destroying the whole concept of copyright. And so there's certain things you can do so that your content is not put up on the internet. And quite frankly, I think that's what people should do if they don't want something on the internet, because otherwise there's a pretty good chance it's going to get up there, and it's a pretty good chance that Yahoo and Google and Facebook and all, and some of the newspapers are going to be the ones who say you can't do it. But when they find a way they want to make money, they'll be the first to do it. Yeah. And the largest will embrace it.
And that raises a question I have, Stephen, just listening to you. How responsible is Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter in publishing something that is patented material that I might, someone might take from a website? How responsible is that publisher, or should they be responsible?
Well, that's an argument. I mean, that is the argument. I mean, how responsible? Well, think about this. 10 years ago, for example, if I took a picture, say, from website XYZ, and then I put it up on, say, a particular, let's just say when Facebook was first started, and I put that up there, or I put that up on, say, my own site. Let's simplify it. Well, basically, the publisher or whoever owned that picture would say, well, you can't do that. You can't copy that without my permission. Well, when you think about it now, I mean, now you can take embeds from Google Plus, okay, and put those embeds, which include the pictures and some of the content, and you can put that on your website or your blog. Now, where did the law change to say that you can do that? But who's the one allowing that? In this case, it's Google.
Yes, interesting.
And there's a twist to what I think Stephen and you are saying, David, and that is that a lot of the people who are listening to your program are marketers, or they're people who are assisting others in their use of the internet. So they merrily go along, they do something that everyone else is doing, they think it's just fine, and it's their clients who have the deep pockets, it's not them, and it's not Google that they're going to go after, because Google is going to be powerful in repelling it. So they inadvertently might be putting their clients at risk by virtue of just following practices that everyone does without even thinking about it. So that might be 2015, the year of I guess I shouldn't do that.
Wow.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen because, as far as I'm concerned, the major media people, and that includes, like I said, it does include Google and it does include some of the others. I mean, they're too invested in this. How are they going to go back? The bottle is open. You know, the worms are now spreading around the garden. I mean, how in the world are they going to go back? You know, they have allowed this to happen. They could have stopped it a long time ago. And now, the question is, it's really what it comes down to is, you know, that old phrase that might makes right. You know, that's it. There's no morality. It's all a question of power and might. You know,
there's no morality in this world that we live in?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. There's very little morality in this area as far as I'm concerned. Okay, and so they'll make up rules based upon their own technologies and what they want to do. And Google does that right now with video. So, but my God, think of video. Google allows us to, we put up things on our website and pictures, and where does it go? Google Images. You know, did you know it's going to go up to Google Images? No. But Google does that and wants you to do it, right? And it says, oh, these could be subject to copyright. No, and itself, you know, it really is a question of might makes right. You know, they'll change the rules, they'll bend the rules, they'll make the rules, and then if you do something they don't like, they'll come out to, oh, well, you morally strong, you broke the rules. You know, no, that's not the real world.
So I find it interesting that in the same program, Stephen will say that Google and the social space that we're talking about is immoral and wrong. It's might makes right. And I say, well, it all brings out the best in you, and we're both right. I guess it's that elephant that you're looking at. It just depends on what part of the elephant you happen to be focusing on.
Well,
I don't disagree with Scott at all. It does bring out the best. The question is, as far as I'm concerned, you know, who defines the best? Is it you in terms of what you do, or is it, say, a search engine that tells you what you can't do, but they do it themselves? So that's the.
So there's another dilemma too, and Michael in a blog 2 weeks ago. And this is really mind-boggling. And Stephen, you being an attorney, if you read the terms of service of all of these technologies, of course the terms of service are going to favor the technology. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't have a problem with that, because if you're going to use their technology, play by their rules. I really don't have a problem with that at all. However, and Michael brought this up in a blog 2 weeks ago, that if you look at the terms of service of Hangouts on Air, and then you look at the terms of service of YouTube, two entities owned by the same corporate umbrella, they don't mix the terms of service. And that further complicates it and makes it more difficult for you and I to do the things that we want to do. We could go on with this discussion for a long time. Maybe Stephen, what we need to do is bring an attorney on from the big entities and have an open discussion.
Yeah, I'd love that, because I'd love to find out their rationale. I mean, honestly, truly. But anyway, I think that would be super. So legal for Google, yeah, we're calling you.
Okay, final statement. Scott, you've got 60 seconds to make a final statement.
Oh, I can do it in less than that. I'm going to have a shameless plug for the Scott plus the Jess plus Scott plus you show. This is our show. You can't plug your no.
So,
and it actually relates to the topic today, because our last week's show was about the race to is Google plus the race to the top, and it was some of these issues. And in 2 weeks, not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, we're going to have a topic around, it won't be the title of it, but it's going to be around the topic of, is Google the new AOL?
Ooh, good one. Good
That's
one.
interesting. Yeah.
And then I think we need a shameless plug for the Bayou Buzz.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can plug it all you want. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well,
BayouBuzz.com.
I mean, I love what you're doing, Stephen, and because you're truly embracing technology, you're publishing it, you're getting the message out, and it's timely. You're as timely as well. Think about how untimely the printed newspapers are. I mean, by the time they turn the press on, it's old news. Let alone distribute it to the customer. Uh, they don't have a chance.
The key in this world is, I think, and I think Scott would agree, is to find out, based on your niche, what can you do technology-wise, and embrace it and go with it. And that's been my philosophy in the last 20-some years.
Well, I want to thank each of you for taking time on a Sunday night to share. Well, it's not even night out in Seattle. Who knows what time it is out there? But thank you for taking time and sharing your thoughts. We've got some fodder here that we need to continue beyond this evening, and maybe we'll do it in a different in a different forum. But thank you for your time and your expertise, and it truly has been enjoyable meeting the two of you in that Google Plus world, and being able to continue those relationships. And we have a lot of fun to do yet. We have a lot of fun left, and thank you for this evening.
Thank you,
Michael.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
Bye, Scott. Thank you.
Hey, David. How you doing?
Oh my goodness, we're going wild tonight, Michael. What was going on? I mean, we just couldn't stop tonight.
When anybody mentions, copyright, and here's a good one: the freedom of speech. All those elements that you guys were discussing there. I'm busy working away in the background and I'm listening, and I could have quite happily have a hangout dedicated just to that one thing. As you mentioned, I've got a blog post running where we're talking about the copyright issues, the terms of service issues, the incompatibilities between the two, and I'm trying to get somebody from YouTube to come onto a hangout with us and discuss these things so that we can find a way how we can all move forward. I mean, just this week you and I launched the no, it was last week, I think. Hang on, no, but in Sunday. I keep thinking the show's running on Thursday. So it was early part of this week we launched the social sharing workshops. And one of the things we're doing, putting a product right in the middle of a hangout there. We could very easily, have something else in the hangout, but you can't do this on a hangout on air. That's why we're using the technology we're using,
Well, is it okay what I just did, Michael?
Well, the channel didn't shut down. I'm still broadcasting.
And we can show them this side. Yeah. This came to me the other day. So
cool. Well, I'll put a link to that as well in the event page. And as we were talking earlier in the program, and as Stephen mentioned, Hangouts are a new thing for people, and they are a way of reaching. This is what the social sharing workshops are all about, really, helping businesses reach a wider audience, be that through social media, through video, distributed through social media. For me, at the top of the food chain, the top of the Maslow's triangle, if you like, is video. Everything else cascades down from there. And if you've got the video and you've mastered it and you have it distributed, fantastic. We may only have had 40, 50 people tune into this video, but we may have hundreds more watch it later. And that's the beauty of online content. As Stephen was saying, he puts a link to a video and it goes across 6,000 pages. Scott applies the Scott treatment to a video and compresses 1 hour into 5 minutes or even less. and the end user ends up with 2-3 copies of a video that they can distribute with sound bites. You know, I think
Oh,
that's
it doesn't stop. Too bad. I'm as old as I am, Michael, because well, this is great. It's too much fun. We're having. There's too many. The challenges definitely are different today, and how so very important it is, and how we run our businesses. Start building your business. You know, build it. If you're not into using these technologies, you are going to be left behind.
yeah,
There's no question. If you're just starting a business, it's a wonderful, wonderful time to start a business because you'll be able to take advantage
yeah.
of all these things that are happening. What's going to happen a week from tonight, Michael?
A week from tonight. Next week, we're talking about audience engagement, 21st century style. It's basically taking everything that we've discussed this evening and taking it another step further and involving all the things that can be used, well, not absolutely everything, but some of the things that can be involved. And as everybody
We're going to
knows,
talk about.
yeah,
Go on. I'm sorry.
as everybody knows, we do not disclose who the guests are. However, think about blogging, think about repurposing content, podcasts, and think about direct engagement through video. We have, I think I used a nice word earlier, an effervescent personality coming onto the show next week, and it'll be well worth watching.
Well, it'll be well worth watching, not just because of the topics themselves, but the individuals who will be presenting the perspectives on those topics are very well known in their field. So we're looking forward to that. And Michael, thank you. It's been a power-packed hour here tonight. Actually, more than an hour.
Just over an hour, yeah.
Thank goodness Google, YouTube will allow us to go 8 hours. Man, I thought we were going to be pushing that 8-hour button tonight.
No. What I'm going to do is just close with some information for the viewers about the social sharing workshops and tie up for the evening. Thank you very much, David.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a great evening. Thank you. Michael, I've got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
What is your small business social marketing return on resource investment? You have any idea? We spend a lot of time, you, me, the rest of the world, we spend a lot of time on doing things in the social media world. We need to teach folks how to make more efficient use of their time in those networks. Do you agree?
I agree 100%. I mean, we monitor where the traffic comes from for our websites, and without even checking the statistics, I can tell you that 50% of the traffic, more or less, comes from social media. Of that, depending on the website, the majority does appear to be coming from Google Plus at the moment, and that is going to increase.
And how did we bring them all together? And I'm going to answer the question for you. We brought all of the things together last night in that HOA that we did with Andy. We took all of his social media reach, and we brought them all together on a Sunday night and created a video. And that is totally making efficient use of your time. Let's do a workshop on it, Michael.